Okay, good morning, and it is Mosiah chapter 22, and uh, we have the people of King Limhi who's been making it their study to try to figure out how to get out of the bondage of the Lamanites. And King Ammon and King Limhi began to consult with the people on how they should deliver themselves out of bondage. Even they did cause all the people should gather themselves together, and this they did that they might have the voice of the people concerning the matter. If you notice, this is King Limhi's way of dealing with things. King Noah, his father, used his priests and his and himself and told the people what to do, and then flattered the people to make them feel placated. But Limhi gets close to the people, learns the voice of the people, and it came to pass that they could find no way to deliver themselves out of bondage except it were to take their women and their children, their flocks and their herds and their tents. They hear the same thing every time. Their flocks and their herds quite often in this. But that's not going to be an easy trick to do, because first of all, flocks and herds are noisy and slower than people are, so they have to find some way of doing it where the Lamanites can't catch up to them. And depart into the wilderness, for the Lamanites being so numerous, it is impossible for the people of Limhi to contend with them, thinking to deliver themselves out of bondage by the sword. And it came to pass that Gideon went forth and stood before the king, and said, Now, O king, thou hast hitherto hearkened unto my words many times, and when we have contended with our brethren the Lamanites. So remember, Gideon was going to kill King Noah, and then last minute spared his life so he could try to save his people, which King Noah totally gave up anyway. But notice Gideon is very close to King Limhi and has his ear. Gideon, just from the things that we hear about him, is a very intelligent and just man. He is a faithful man as well. We find that he's very faithful in the gospel. At least from this point on, we don't know how he was, why he wasn't with Alma and his people, so he wasn't hearkening or following that closely, but there's something about him. And now, O king, if thou hast not found me an unprofitable servant, or if thou hast hitherto listened to my words in any degree, and they have been of service to thee, even so I desire that thou wouldest listen to my words at this time, and I will be thy servant, and deliver this people out of bondage. He's very, very confident. And the king granted him that he might speak. And Gideon said unto him, Behold, the back pass through the back wall and the back side of the city, pretty much in the back area, I think, is where we're looking at. The Lamanites, or the guards of the Lamanites, by night are drunken. Notice he says, by night are drunken. He knows that they get drunk. They probably get drunk every night. They don't care. This is probably really boring, to them. They're just like, yeah, let's just watch them. By this time, the people are really beaten down, and they don't have any fight left in them. So the Lamanites that are watching them, it's an easy gig, you might say. And so they get drunk, probably every night. Therefore, let us send a proclamation among all this people, that they gather together their flocks, their herds, that they may drive them into the wilderness by night. And according to thy command, and I will go according to thy command, and pay the last tribute of wine to the Lamanites. So they're going to give them fresh wine here, and they will be drunken, and we will pass through the secret pass on the left of their camp when they are drunken and asleep. Thus we will depart with our women, our children, our flocks, and our herds in the wilderness. Again, women, children, flocks, herds, not the easiest thing to get out. And we will travel around the land of Shalom. And it came to pass that the king hearkened unto the words of Gideon, and King Limhi caused that his people should gather their flocks together and send a tribute of wine to the Lamanites. He also sent more wine as a present to them. Oh, you've been such nice captors. We thought we'd give you a present to show how much we appreciate you. And they did drink freely of the wine which the king Limhi did send unto them. And it came to pass that the people of King Limhi did depart by night into the wilderness with their flocks and their herds. And they went round about the land of Shalom in the wilderness, and bent their course towards the land of Zarahemla, being led by Ammon and his brethren. So, again, talking a little bit about the flocks. I thought, how could they do that? How can they sneak out with sheep baying and cows? Even if somebody's drunk, they might not be passed out that much. And what about the other guards that might not get as drunk at the front? I think they would still have all gotten drunk, but the front gate is probably more vigilant. Well, I just thought, well, where would they put the sheep in the city? Remember, they have to have them all in the city walls, because not even Limhi trusted himself to be outside the gates without his guards. Is that dangerous? And you're not going to have your flocks outside at night where they can be stolen. So they're all inside. Where did they put them? Every single night, every single day. Every time, probably in the back. You wouldn't want them right by the front gate where everybody's going to be coming and going or whatever. You want the sheep in the back, away from the houses and the people as much as possible. So they'd be in the pack already. So the drunk soldiers probably fell asleep to the sound of the animals, and so the animals just being moved out of a gate probably didn't even faze them. That's how I see it anyway. And so they escape. They'd taken their gold, their silver, and their precious things. I think that's interesting that they put that, and they could carry also their provisions with them in the wilderness, and they pursued their journey. So they tried to pretty much clear out the place, so it wasn't of much use to the Lamanites. And after being many days in the wilderness, they arrived in the land of Zarahemla and joined Mosiah's people and became his subjects. So they really just had an uneventful journey in a way, but they had to move, and they had to keep moving until they got there. And it came to pass that Mosiah received them with joy, and he also received their records, and also the records which had been found by the people of Limhi. And we will get back to that after after the account of Alma as well. And now it came to pass when the Lamanites had found that the people of Limhi had departed out of the land by night, they sent an army into the wilderness to pursue them. And after they had pursued them 2 days, they could no longer follow their tracks. Therefore they were lost in the wilderness. Now I think it's interesting that, just to point out something really quick, because I don't have much time, and we're going to do the account of Alma tomorrow, but when Alma, having been warned of the Lord, now the first time it didn't say he was warned of the Lord, he just knew that Noah had sent an army after him, but it says that he's warned of the Lord in this, so we know that how he got it. But notice that they, when they found out King Noah was coming after them, had gathered together their flocks and took their grain and departed in the wilderness. What's different? They didn't take their gold. They didn't take, they didn't take anything of worldly value. They took the things that they needed, the flocks and the grain and the things that they needed to survive, and then went into the departed in the wilderness. I'm sure they took some gold or something, but it doesn't mention it like they do the people of Limhi. And so I just thought that was interesting, a little note, and I think that is where we will end this session today, and we will have a lot more to talk about tomorrow, because we're going to talk about Alma and his people. So have a lovely day, and take care of your flocks and your herds, wherever they might be. Oh, and your women and children as well. And we will see you tomorrow.